what you think that I'm packing. To protect mine, I keep it on my lap and drive slow like a turtle, straight relaxing. Ain't no acting, we selling out caskets. 2 for 1, I shoot the one, ain't no scrapping. Got more money than the city.
Welcome to the show. I am your host, Rick H. But before anything today, I just want to give a special birthday shout out to my guy behind the camera,
JT,
the best in the business, our
Justin
producer,
Timberlake,
director, editor.
Justin the Just
Forget
Man.
Justin Timberlake. This is our JT. Justin, we love you,
Blondie
man.
the J.
I don't know where I'd be without Justin. I'll do an episode just me and Justin's relationship. His girlfriend's jealous of us.
Wait, we already did that episode.
Our bond.
It was,
So.
we did that episode.
I'm your host, Rick H.
Justin.
I'm joined by my brother, as usual, Benny Banks.
Yo, it's me. I'm in the building. Yo, what's good, huh?
I like it. I
You
like
gonna
it.
finish?
That's perfect. That's no, give me one more. That was so good.
Wait,
What's good?
I'm also in the building, I guess.
In the building.
We are in the vicinity.
We're in the area.
We're in the room.
And today's guest is Andy Diaz. So, super.
Sir.
Last night we interviewed a creator, and now we're interviewing another one. So it's like a little trend. Big in the creative industry. He's involved with a lot of things. He has a short film we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Eye Color. We're going to talk about The Long Way Home. We're going to talk about Spike.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know who Spike is, Google it.
Yeah, we probably-
And then we'll talk about where he grew up. I'm going to ask him why he wears a Yankee hat. I think we should lead off with that. So, Andy. First of all, Andy, where you from? Andy Diaz. Is Diaz a Dominican? Or
The Asa.
Asa.
Very,
Thank you.
very Dominican.
Okay.
From Macorís, San Francisco de Macorís. Yeah, but then my mother would be really mad if I didn't say it. I'm also Puerto Rican.
Mom, he's Puerto Rican.
By way of Loíza in Brooklyn. My mother was born in Brooklyn. She actually just went to Puerto Rico for the first time like 3 years ago. So yeah, that's where I'm. But I'm from the Bronx, born and raised. Moved to Miami for a little bit.
Wow, you.
How long were you in Miami for?
For a year. It was a year. It was for school.
Puerto Rico,
Studying
Miami.
studying advertising, creative and advertising. So I did that for a year, and it was the best decision I've ever made. But to move to the worst place I've ever lived. Shout out to Miami.
Wait, what is it? Florida in general or just Miami?
I don't
I
think
mean-
any Miami celebrities know.
No, yeah, no.
No.
We love you. We like to visit you.
Good thing I'm from New York. Right? I don't care. No, it's Florida in general was pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
But I think Miami, being from New York, when you get used to the cultural options, right?
Yeah.
Right. Miami is you're either retired, or Colombian, or Cuban. Excuse me, Cuban. And that is it. Like, is that it? That's it. And so my theory is, you move to Miami if you want to party all day or retire. If you're anywhere in between,
No middle
stay
ground.
the hell out of there.
Yeah. feel
I
like
thought
that's
you were
how
gonna say
Miami
because
is.
in Miami I can't go, in like a span of 2 or 3 blocks. And, if I want to get a haircut
Facts.
or if I want to do
All of that.
buy clothes or
The
eat at a
culture,
restaurant
just
or something,
the
it's
lack
just
of
not
the
that
lack
accessible.
the lack of cultural diversity in Miami is sad. I lived there in 2009, so I'm imagining, and I've been there, I've been back once or twice. It's gotten better, there's more food options. There's soul food. There was no soul food when I lived there. I know because I skateboarded around the whole damn thing to find some. So yeah, that was so.
what part of Miami though? I'm interested in
South Beach. I lived on right
Oh,
off the
you
beach.
lived on South
I
Beach?
lived on-
Yeah.
'Cause I lived on
And
Miami
you know,
Lakes
that's
for a
like
little while.
probably the most diverse place in Florida.
You get some good
So
Colombian
you
food
can't-
on South Beach
Tourists,
though.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get that. Yes, the
That you
best,
could.
the best
Yes.
Cuban food. Puerto Sagua is the best. Like, and so there's that. It has its upsides. You can't complain about working on the beach, right? You can't really.
Yeah, you can.
But I just needed more, so I did that for a year, and then moved back to New York.
New York. Now you're wearing a Yankee hat. In this show, we support baseball and New York baseball.
We do
Maybe
support
not the baseball. Well,
the
Maybe
two
not,
pri-
maybe
the,
not the best team to ever come out of New York.
the
Yeah, maybe
two
not.
guys up here don't support.
I'm not gonna speak for all of New
Yankees.
York,
I don't know.
but I know.
Whatever.
You know, I
The
respect.
Yankees
respect.
are better.
Okay,
The Yankees are
let's-
better than the Mets.
27
God, that
World
was
Series
that
rings.
was hard.
Yankees,
Yo,
Yankees
that
are
was
way
difficult.
better than the Mets.
You gotta understand, we're being on videotape now, so it's on record.
Disgusting.
Let's go Mets at the end.
You know
to
what?
Make you
I
feel
always,
better.
I always said, I always
how hard
said,
that was to get out.
I always said that I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Knicks fan.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm a
even.
Giants
oh.
fan, and I will not let my child. I will let my child choose what they want to be. I will not force them into being a Mets fan or being a Knicks fan
Oh, look at you.
because this is hell.
Well, so you're choosing to live that lifestyle.
But it's good though.
I'm
we,
not.
we know how to.
I haven't chose.
Because if
I was
naturally,
born
when
this
you're,
way.
when you're a Yankee fan, you naturally go, all right, kids, let's go. Pinstripes. You know, there's nothing that you don't have to think about that. As Mets
That's
fans
because
or
of the
Knicks
history.
fans, Jets fans, oh man.
Oh man,
Right?
Jets!
Like, I
Imagine
can't
if I was a
imagine.
Jets fan.
Shout out to RJ
I'd
who's
be
here
dead.
by the way. He's a Jets
My
fan.
best friend is off
I just-
camera,
I
and he's
just-
a fan of all the bad teams in New York.
Oh my god.
So why do you wear
So
a
let's get back-
Yankee hat?
So I wear so the Yankee hat has become on me has become a bit of a branding thing, and that happened. That was a byproduct of me just being rebellious, right? So
Right.
in high school, I went to I won't name the high school. I don't even think the high school exists anymore. But I went to a high school.
doesn't.
In New, yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't.
I was actually the last commencement speaker.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
kind of crazy.
Take that.
Right, with my hat on.
Yeah.
So I went to a high school that, like most New York City public high schools, make you go through a vigorous entry process with metal detectors and security and
Yeah.
wands. The thing that their thing was headgear.
Yeah.
So you had to take
Right.
your hat off every time you walked in, and they'd confiscate it, not just like take it off, put it away. They'd
Yeah.
take it. And the rebellious kid from the Bronx in me was, all right, well, you're gonna just have to keep taking them because I'm gonna keep wearing them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were aware of what they were doing to me, to so many other kids, right? Culturally,
Yeah.
you're stripping us of an identity that I'm a kid from the Bronx. This means a lot to me.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
It's a
Right.
in some ways a safety net for me. You know.
Right.
So I couldn't wear it. And so when I achieved a certain level of success in advertising and marketing, I wore my hat everywhere because I realized it didn't define who I was or how good my
Right.
work ethic.
Right.
You know, it didn't define how I showed up every day. And if you thought because I showed up in this hat, I was going to do a half-assed job, well, I got a surprise for you.
Sack, Steak.
Right.
So that's kind of where it stems from, and it just became a thing, and to the point where now, to this day, I walk around my agency with a hat that isn't a Yankee hat, and I get so much shit. I get so much shit from everybody. Producers just like, what do you like? Everybody's like, and I'm not aware of it, so I'm
Are
like,
they
what's-
looking for the Yankee?
And I
hat?
look, yeah,
It has to be a
Yeah.
Yankee. Now I was praying to God that you wore a Yankee hat today. I seriously was. In my promo, you're wearing one, so I know the backstory of it.
Yeah.
And you also told me what they did in that high school to the hats.
yeah.
So
Also,
if they took your hat, what they do?
so they would take the hats and do-rags, and over the metal detector they would hang it, like a mistletoe,
Yeah.
of just confiscating
Decoration.
shit,
That's crazy.
and so I don't know if they're aware of that. I mean, they closed down now, so but it's sad, man. And I think there is now, a decade later, I think we're in a place where if you're creative or if you're not a creative or if you're just a professional, it is encouraged to bring your whole self to work.
Right.
And so that is a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? I love to
Right.
see kids come in with, I was at a shoot for a brand, for the most popular search engine in the world the other day.
Right.
And this young man, he's non-binary, so can't say
Okay.
he or she.
All right.
But he showed up. That's a bad habit. He showed up in heels. In heels, makeup, and I loved it. The confidence that he showed up with.
They showed up.
They showed up with.
Thank you.
Thank you, because I'm learning. Was astounding to me, right?
Yeah.
You can show up like this, but 10 years ago I couldn't even show up in my fitted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So I think it absolutely impacts what you do and how you do it to feel like you are you when you're right
Right.
there. So that's That's it. No, I've never been on the Yankees, the field. I've never saw the bat, but I've
You've
been
never
to
been
way
on
too
the-
many games.
So
Okay.
off camera, I got some good news for you. The next thing you're talking about a simple Yankee hat. What if this was a yarmulke or it was a religious
Right,
garment?
right, right. If it was a burqa, you know what I'm saying? It was
I put it in that type of level.
absolutely.
Because this it makes you feel comfortable. This
That's
is
it.
where you're from.
That's
this is
it.
who you are.
Right.
And then you're not allowed to wear.
Show up as yourself. Now imagine, I'm thinking about like work,
Yeah.
school. I have to
Right.
go to school every day,
Yeah.
and I can't show up like as my full self.
Yeah.
So I mean, that just causes you to rebel once you get in the building,
Yeah.
even more. So, and so
Exactly.
it has a trickle effect that I don't think they were aware of.
Right. It's crazy how you could go into your job now with your hat on,
Yeah.
and nobody
Yeah.
will say anything. Nobody will tell you, "Hey, you got to take your hat off."
Millions of dollars in production.
Yeah.
In my field.
Exactly. But when you're in school, in your high school, and they're like, "Hey, you can't wear a hat inside the building,"
You have to wear
it's
a
unprofessional.
tie.
Yeah.
But
Or your
when you
pants.
actually get to a status,
Yeah.
you're wearing your hat everywhere,
That's fine.
and everybody knows you for that.
That's fine.
Like, where's your Yankee hat at?
And that's interesting because
crazy.
that's kind of how branding works.
Yeah,
They hate it until they love it.
yeah,
Right. It's a very interesting thing, man. And sometimes you just have to keep pounding it down people's throat. You just you know what I'm saying. I'm not. If you think you're gonna invite me to this fancy gala and I'm not gonna come with this fitted on in a navy blue tux to match, and you don't know me, you know what I'm saying, oh, don't invite me to your gala.
right.
So if Andy Diaz is going to the Met Gala.
Ooh, that's a
And
good.
let's-
I've never been invited. Let's put it in the universe.
I'm putting it out there right now. Andy Diaz is going to the Met Gala.
He's gone. He's there. He's on his way.
I'm taking RJ with me.
And
Yeah.
there's like, Met Gala. You gotta
Mm-hmm. Got clean up.
call up your designers. You gotta clean up.
Mm-hmm.
The designer Yankee hat will be there. Or
Absolutely. This one, look. This one has Basquiat. This has Basquiat's art on the
no, I
back.
didn't mention.
I didn't
I was
even
looking
know,
at the
yo,
back.
I didn't even, I saw
Thank
the
you.
orange
So that's the- yeah.
joint in the back. I didn't even know.
So this was a collab between John Michel's estate and the Yankees. New Era, I think, or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it varies. I've had
That's actually
if there's any Yankee anything with like it's a collaborate. I'm on it. But I'm a big fan of pop culture. I've worked in advertising for over a decade now at the top agencies in the world. As it's a super blessing. But you see things. The merger of art and commerce, right? That
Right.
intersection is everything. I didn't even like pop art until like 5 years ago.
Right.
Now my apartment is full of all
Right.
kinds of art, and that it comes with time, It comes with time. Developing a palette for art
Yeah.
and commerce, and how those two things work together.
Right.
So when you were in high school, so we were talking about you're in high school. Did you think advertisement is that,
That's
or,
a fun.
or was it film, or was it?
No, it was,
what
so
what was
I
your
studied fine art. So I studied fine art all through high school and junior high. So I've always drawn and painted. And one day, I was on my senior art class, or like AP art or whatever it was, and my homegirl at the time, she's still my homegirl, Ality. Shout out to Ality.
Ality?
Had a pamphlet.
Yeah.
And on the pamphlet were kids, and this is 2006, 2007.
Okay.
2006. Yeah. And she had a pamphlet, and on the pamphlet were kids with computers. In 2006, everybody didn't have a computer. I just got my first Dell. And
Dude, you gotta go.
yeah, and so the pamphlet, but they had laptops, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, what is this?
Yeah. The whole
So
that
she was a
that
part of this
shit.
program called the Torch program. Shout out to Torch.
Torch.
Together our resources can help. And she got invited to be a part of this program. She was a good student. I was the opposite of that. And so I didn't get it, but I saw her with the pamphlet and I said, what is this? I want to do this. Where you,
Right.
I'm going after school. I heard, I'm going with you. I literally was not invited. And then I went the next day to my senior art professor, Miss Williams, and I said, I want this. Where can I sign up? And I signed up. And when I went, I'll never forget, the first assignment they gave us was like So let me back up a little bit. The program introduced kids from the inner city to communications.
Right.
And so when I got there, they had this little office space downtown, and it was like 12 brown kids and like 3 white kids.
Right.
And I was like, huh, I could do this. It's the first time I've been in a building downtown, like, you know, inside of a building downtown.
Right.
It was on 14th and 8th. And they gave us an assignment to make a magazine cover. And the magazine cover can be whatever you want it to be about. You can just create it. I made it about I made a kids cookbook, and I called it "Kids Gotta Eat." And from that moment, I never looked back. And I don't remember. I was maybe 16, 17.
Damn.
And that was it. Through that program, I met a woman by the name of Tiffany R. Warren, Chief Diversity Officer at Omnicom and founder of Ad Color. And not very soon, but shortly after I graduated high school, I got an internship at an agency, at a really big agency. I'll stop naming. At a really big agency, and it was to be the clerical assistant's assistant, right? So the person who passes off the donuts to the person who takes the donuts into the room. And I did that for a year, and I dropped out of college. So I was I was going to another college in New York City, CUNY. I would say CUNY. I won't say which. And I was studying art and advertising design.
All right.
And I was about a semester in, and it was all art history and new figure drawing, and I'd been doing that for, you know. And one day, the teacher, professor, came up to me and he whispered in my ear, which is still creepy to this day. He whispered in my ear. He looked at my drawing.
Yeah.
This is amazing, but if you're not gonna apply what I'm teaching, why do you come? And I paused for a second.
That sounds terrible.
And I looked at him.
That sounds actually.
And I said,
"This is amazing.
You are absolutely right."
Yeah, that's
I'm out.
inspiring. Yeah.
And I left. I dropped out. I got an internship shortly after at that big agency, and I was the clerical assistant for a year. And then when I was supposed to be done with that, they brought me back on for another half a year to be the trend spotting intern. So
Right.
in 2007,
Right.
2008, got to decide what was cool in the
Trend
next
spotting.
trend spotting. So it's like
Intern.
it's predicting what's hot, and and then they make these studies and they sell them for ridiculous amounts of money. When we all know who really predicts trends, right?
Yeah.
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 So
Minorities.
right. So
You're welcome.
so I did that for a while, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm 19. I just turned 20 back at the time, and
Shit.
I was like, all right, well, I love this. Back up. I found the creative department in advertising.
Yeah.
So as the trend spotting intern, I would just walk around, and I found the creatives, and that was it. I was like, well, this is it. This is what I'm
Yeah,
going
this
to
is
do.
what you wanna do.
This allows me to be an artist and to impact culture and to be the guy who makes the Nike commercials that I saw growing
Yeah.
up. Like, that's like, I don't even know that I knew people made commercials up until then. Like,
Yeah.
you just think the company puts out the ads they
Yeah.
want you to see. It's a bigger problem, and I'll get to that later. And so we did that. I did that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm 19, 20. I gotta go back to school. Like, that's the only way I'm really gonna
Right.
And then I got a call by a woman. I won't mention her name, but she called me and she said, I know what you should be doing. You should go to portfolio school.
Right.
And I said, yeah. I said, just like that, right? And then I said, what the fuck's portfolio school? And portfolio school essentially is, and I won't mention the one I went to, but it's essentially like trade school for creatives in advertising. So it just focuses in 2 years of just focused creative marketing and branding, right?
Right.
So I did that for 2 years.
Wait, what's that again?
What do you mean?
What, trade school?
My brother's gonna do this now after this.
No.
We had an actor on. My brother's like, yeah. Where do I go to the
Taking acting
casting?
classes.
No, but like I feel like there's a lot of kids that they don't know what they want to do. Like, there's a lot of kids that they want to. Let's say there's kids that they want to do advertising, right? But they don't want to do like so much. They don't want to do all these other classes. They don't want. They just want to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
So now they can focus on that.
Specialize on.
They can specialize
on what they want
one
to. Yeah,
thing,
like if you want to be a mechanic, you go to
Exactly. If you want to be a mechanic, you
so,
just go to another school.
Same, but one of the lessons I took from going to that school, moving out to Miami, one time we had a speaker and he said, "You're gonna get out of this what you put into it. Right? This isn't.
Right.
You aren't at Yale. You know, people will disregard this if you take the certification and just don't do anything with it. It
Right.
doesn't mean anything." I got that, right? I was lucky enough to win a $10,000 scholarship while there. I used half to pay my bills up, and the other half I used to live. 'Cause I didn't want to work on the beach. Terrible. But it was a thing. But I did that, and then so the way my school was set up was you do 1 year at a base location, which was my Miami stay, and then the second year you travel all around Europe. So they had schools all over. They have schools all over Europe.
That's actually pretty dope.
Amazing if you can afford it.
Oh. Okay.
So I called the founder of the school and I said, "Look, I don't want you to change the rules for me." And again, this is the rebellious Bronx kid in me, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you to change the rules. This clearly is working for you guys.
Right.
But I can't afford to spend a year in Europe. Like Amsterdam is cool, but I just can't. I'm not. No. Living here was rough as hell.
Yeah.
So she got off the phone with me and she said, "You know what? I'll think about it." And I was on my way to an interview. And I got a call, and it was her. And she said, "You could open the Dumbo location." So my school opened a location in Brooklyn, and they let me be the opening manager. So I was working for the school while being a student, and it went really well. After that, I had a year of nothing, just dead silence. I was like, I would go to 223rd to Starbucks
Right.
and work on logos because we didn't have Wi-Fi at the time.
Right.
And this was from 2010 to 2012. 2010 to 2012, and I was dejected. Like I felt like I went out there, I did 2 years, I spent this money, I got this debt now, and I can't get a job. And then I got a job. I got a job at another really big McCann. I got a job in McCann, New York, and I was there for 4 years. I took another creative assistant position at McCann, and within a year I was an art director.
That's a really big jump.
Yeah, it's a really big jump. And
In a year.
and the way that happened, and this is a bigger point I kind of want to get to, is I didn't allow the gatekeepers to keep me at arm's distance, right?
Right.
So I got sent on, there was a shoot, Kohl's was the brand. Nobody shops. Kohl's was the brand. And
Some people shop at
some
Kohl's.
people, I love Kohl's.
We love
People
Kohl's.
shop
Love
at Kohl's.
We need Camisil's. So that year went by, and I was like, so the year I was promoted, and then and I was promoted because this one shoot on that brand, half the team was split.
Right.
Half the team was sent to South Africa to shoot the people, right? That would be in the commercial.
Kohl's commercial.
Half the people
Let that
went to
sink in.
Africa to
Yeah,
shoot.
big time advertising is not what you think it is. It's we do everything to cut corners. So the reason it's shot in Africa is because it's cheaper, simple, right? And it's just girls and guys frolicking and and
just
flowy,
dancing around
flowy
in
tops,
Africa.
right? But no, you don't even know it's in Africa because they're in the studio.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's that. They don't
Even better
want you to know. They don't want you to know it's in
Yeah,
Africa. No.
Yeah, it makes
No,
no
you
sense.
should think
then.
we're in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
which is where they sent my ass. So
fuck.
they sent the one half of the team to Africa to shoot the on-brand camera stuff, and they sent me by myself to Milwaukee to shoot the clothes. Right. So when you see a commercial, you see the people, but then in between that, you see the circling blouses and like the pants that just fly up in the. I was doing that right by myself. I think the Packers had just lost. I think
The Super Bowl or
I think the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Super Bowl.
damn.
And I fly in and it's free. It's like -5.
It's Wisconsin.
It's Wisconsin, right?
Oh damn.
And I'm on this shoot, and I did great. You know, I was learning as I was. You know, I was there. And when I got back, I learned that the woman who was running the account lost her shit. Like, you sent an intern by himself. Like how? She got fired. I was asked to come back and lead the summer shoot again by myself. And
In Wisconsin?
In Wisconsin again.
Wow.
So you lived in Wisconsin?
Couldn't have went somewhere different.
Yeah,
on
they
the
couldn't.
second
No,
time?
they couldn't.
Just leave.
Well, that's the headquarters is out there, so they
Well,
have this.
he did a good
They
job
have-
in
yeah,
Wisconsin.
so
We'll
they-
send him right back.
So
Cole's
they-
got a good place.
They have
in
they have
Boston.
this big studio where they shoot all. It's actually pretty impressive. They shoot all this shit in this one studio. That's not people. And I did that again, and so that was my first time experiencing going against the grain, so to speak,
Yeah.
and having success.
Right.
And that just kind of stuck with me, you know. And that just kind of stuck with me. And that's kind of what my career has been in advertising.
That's why I feel like you have to be like especially in advertising, dude.
Yeah.
You have to stand out. You have to stand out in something. In advertising, especially, if you don't stand out, if you just with everything that everybody else says,
You get lost.
you're
You
gonna
in the mix.
get lost.
I tell you this: people care about.
You have to be creative, no?
I mean, to the utmost, right? People
Yeah.
care about commercials for a week.
Yeah.
A week. That's all you got. So even if you do it really, really well, especially actually if you do it really, really well,
Right.
no one cares after a week.
Yeah.
If you do it really, really poorly, they'll talk about you for a month, right? Kendall Jenner and the,
Oh, that
the
was
soda
serious.
company.
Yeah, that was this Pepsi.
You'll say that because I can't.
Oh.
That that is
We love you, Pepsi.
right.
I love Pepsi.
That is the prime example of bad advertising. But look, that'll always be the example.
Yeah.
Nobody, you can't name a good example. Like, I love this commercial so much. No, everybody goes to like Jordan and Nike back in the
Right.
80s, right?
Oh damn, Jordan.
I got
Nike
some
was
commercials.
Give me-
fucking
give me- give me-
sick.
give me two-
I'll
give me
give
two
you
again.
some spots.
Give me some. Ooh, he says spots. If you don't
Spots.
know, he knows.
I did like the Budweiser commercial with the frogs.
Wada.
I love commercials.
Oh, Budweiser with
Nah.
the frogs.
He went back a
dude.
decade,
that
over a
they
decade.
have us.
So-
They have
Budweiser.
a series. So where it's like, I always feel like with a brand you wanna marry it to something, like an
That
image.
shit, absolutely.
So I always love when they pick the right image and you can run different spots
Dude,
with that person.
Spike Lee and
Campaign.
Michael Jordan together.
But
Oh,
you,
I mean, give me something. Give
you're
me something.
going, you're going
With the
back
fives,
to
My
dude?
point. That's
To his
going back to
point.
my point. Yeah.
You're going back to his point.
People
but
don't care.
What?
No.
They don't care about what?
I was.
What
a
about
big
Penny
fan of-
Hardaway's?
And he
Little
went
Penny.
back to Nike.
Little Penny, but
Little
Nike.
Penny.
Okay.
The problem
You
is
can't use a Nike spot.
yes.
Go.
Why can't I use a Nike?
You can't. You just can't.
The
Why?
problem
Let's say
is,
that's your parameter.
The problem is with advertisement
shit.
is if you did not know, it's catered to. So for example, on Sundays when there's football, you'll see truck commercials. You'll see stuff
Well,
that's
you'll
geared
see,
towards
like,
men.
You'll see a lot of car commercials, trucks.
Yeah.
A lot
so
of beer
when
commercials.
we're watching an NBA game when we were little kids, you saw sneaker commercials. But there is, I like the Gatorade. Michael Jordan is there, but I like the Gatorade ads. I like the Frog, Budweiser. Beer commercials are some of my favorites.
They do
yeah.
well. They do well.
The Bud Light one now
Within
with
the
the dilly
parameters.
dilly thing is
That's good.
pretty
Oh, that's
funny.
good.
That's good. That's
good.
coming
That's-
out of
that's
that's
good.
coming out of my old agency too.
Yeah.
I did like the NFL commercial they did just
Amazing.
recently ran
NFL
in the
100
Super
was
Bowl.
amazing. It was the only one that was good.
I'm not in love with any of these. First of all, avocados made in Mexico. I don't know if that's a brand or if they're just saying avocados in Mexico are the best thing ever. But
It's a brand.
I don't. It is a brand.
It is a brand.
Oh my god! Please stop.
They have a jingle.
Dude, Avocados in Mexico.
So, and you know what else? The lawyer commercials. Were
I
always
just
funny.
said that shit.
Celino and Barnes.
Salino and Barnes. Okay. Well,
Jingles, too.
Jingles will always.
Actually, we talked about that
in one of our
Selena
episodes.
Barnes
But
in
Selena
one of
and
our
Barnes,
episodes.
and then they messed me up when they switched the phone number.
Yo,
Well,
they switched the
like-
But what about
phone
Dr.
number, dude.
Sismore, right?
Dr. Sismore, yes.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
that
was a
man-
big one.
That man is a legend, right? Name 5. If you asked people, millennials,
Dermatologists.
Gen Xers, they don't know who Dr. Sismore is.
There was a Michael Jordan commercial that it was
Here we go. You see,
when he was in
You can't
the
help it.
Wizards.
You're proving him
I just
right.
want to say,
Hey.
my point is, nobody cares unless it was Nike or Michael Jordan. Continue.
Was Michael Jordan? I think it was Gatorade.
I just said I want to be like Mike.
I think it was Gatorade, dude.
I just is
But
that
it
I
was-
mentioned
I love
that.
It was when he was in the Wizards,
Oh, Bo
and
knows
then
everything.
he's
Dope.
playing against all of his
old selves?
old selves.
That was a
You
good
remember that
commercial.
one? That was a good
I believe it
commercial.
was good.
dude.
Mike
Bo
versus-
knows. Bo knows.
Bo
knows.
He's
Bo
a
It's
fish.
knows.
good, but it's a Nike ad.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nike got
spends
the
a lot of money on
hot shit.
advertisement.
Yeah. I mean, now the Colin Kaepernick stuff is.
Well, not, yeah, now
Yeah.
they're going towards that way.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin Kaepernick, big time.
$80
Talk about
million.
a brand that means something. Absolutely.
People are talking about Larry Johnson. I'm gonna name him out loud. That he sold out or whatever. I don't care what you say,
Larry
Larry
Johnson sold out.
The man was shoved out of a game, and
How did
the
Larry
amount
Johnson
of money that is not being disclosed is 60. Larry Johnson, the running back.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
he
What was that? Did
He
they
spoke
disclose
out.
the money?
they haven't, but
They
Inside
say it's
Reporter is
20
between
it's-
60 to 80 million dollars.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money
It's a lot of money, but I don't know.
to
that-
turn down.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially for a man who hasn't been in the NFL. Plus the Nike money.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the money for Colin.
No,
so.
at all.
No,
At all.
no.
But that's a good number. If
But,
It's
yeah,
a
if-
good number.
If you're gonna
He's-
give him something,
he's already made his point,
yeah.
so, and you know, and then some. So I think
Yeah.
he
It-
deserves a payday.
It's already been confirmed, basically, that he got blackballed out the league.
But also, I think like,
Like it's
Yeah, I mean, it's
obvious.
yeah,
obvious.
they just gave him
But what do we-
60 to 80 million.
what are we saying about institutions that can still blackball people and function like nothing ever happened? Like, where are we as a community that, you know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that man is representative of all of us. If you
Yeah.
are a minority, you should, if, I'm of the belief, and Justin, I love you, but if you're not white in this country, you're black. You know what I'm saying? And so, if we don't stand up for us,
Right.
we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it first starts with the NFL as an organization. In the
Fact.
NBA, this
Fact.
does
Yeah.
not happen. First of all, the
Yeah,
only
it doesn't-
minority owner in the NFL owns the Jags,
That's it.
and he's a billionaire from
I think he's from
Middle
India.
East,
Yeah.
Dubai. I think.
But the thing about the NBA, the players have more of they have more
well,
of the power.
Adam Silver is a much better.
No, but
Or,
the
commissioner.
players in the NBA, they can actually dictate where they want to
Yeah,
go.
because Adam Silver
Adam
had
Silver
the amazing
Listens to
internship,
players,
if
yeah.
you will, mentorship of David Stern.
Right.
David Stern got it right 10 out of 10 times.
yeah.
Except for not allowing Chris Paul to come to the Lakers. That's another conversation
That
for another
was
No,
I
we're-
was
we're
upset
gonna,
about
We're
that.
gonna talk about
dude.
your Laker.
day. Yeah,
I was
please,
upset
please.
about
I think
that.
there's a big misconception. Lakers.
I was upset
but
about that.
aside from that, David Stern never got it wrong, you know. And so Adam Silver watched that for many years. When he had a hair, I believe. And so, you know, I can't imagine that he'd allow all that, you know, the tutelage that he had to just go out the
Right.
window. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then, who are you gonna tell? You gonna tell LeBron he can't do something?
Oh, nobody's gonna tell LeBron he can't.
You
do
know?
Oh, Michael Jordan's an owner of an NBA
it. Well, Michael,
franchise.
I feel like
Mike-
It's much of a
Magic.
different. Yeah.
Mike-
There's a
Magic.
bunch of other. Yeah. Bob Johnson before Mike.
It's different when there's diversity
in the area, in
Yeah.
the arena.
I mean, I don't want to. People talk about, oh, we need Latino and black coaches. Okay, I'll take a coach, Becky Hammonds in the Spurs. I'll take that. But talk to me about GMs, commissioners,
Yeah.
even
In the
my
NFL.
painful New York Knicks. You know, our GM. And
Hey, come on, don't talk about the Knicks, bro.
let's
no,
not
but
talk about it.
we have
I feel
we have
like he's
we
the
do
one
have a
that's
white
already
owner, but
big.
we do have our front office is very diverse. Steve Mills and Scott Perry.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a world of difference between the NBA and the NFL.
Yeah, NFL is
Way behind the
yeah,
times.
Shows. It
it's
shows.
pretty behind the times.
Even the WWE, wrestling
Yeah.
is far more advanced than what
And
the
I don't
NFL.
watch. I was a big fan growing up of WWE, WWF, but I've in passing now,
Right.
so many more black wrestlers I see. You know,
Right. Champions.
Got champions that are-
Women are headlining
Women
shows
are
too.
See, I didn't even know that.
shows.
That's amazing. That's crazy. That's gross.
So
That's
WrestleMania is in
amazing.
New York this year, and it's gonna be Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair as the headline.
Headlining. That's amazing. That's
Where
Where
amazing.
Hogan
amazing.
and whoever
Yeah.
it is was headlining before.
I mean, Ronda Rousey is.
Ron-
She's Ronda.
Ronda Rousey.
She is,
Ronda
but
Rousey.
they're allowing their. I went to a women in sports panel recently with Paige. Paige is a WWE wrestler who got hurt and she messed up her neck. She comes from a family of
Yes.
wrestlers, and The Rock is the one that's producing Dwayne Johnson. He's producing the movie called Fighting
Fighting
with
with
Family.
Family.
Yeah, we saw that.
So we saw the film and we sat in a panel, and it's just it all started with somebody put a hashtag, a fan, give Divas a chance. Back then they were known as Divas,
Yeah.
and Vince McMahon and his daughter and his son-in-law, who's Triple H, they listened and they started giving the women an opportunity to wrestle as much as the guys,
Right.
and look how it is now.
But look where it's at, right? I mean, and that's it. That's it, right? If you take that as a microcosm of what needs to happen across the board in advertising and in the arts, right?
Right.
Overall, that's it. That's
Right.
it. If you bring more people of color to the table, it'll just be better. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know another way to say that. But I also think there's something happening where nobody's, as opposed to waiting for a seat at a table, we're just making our own tables, right?
Yeah,
I think LeBron is I keep going back to LeBron, but he's the perfect example, right? What he's
Yeah.
doing, and the Laker fan in me, it's not a big fan of this, but the creative in me loves this. He's taking complete ownership, not only of his brand, but of creative output.
Right.
Y'all not just
Yeah.
gonna have me for commercials.
Right.
No, I'm executive producing these movies.
Right.
I'm putting
Doing
on
the
these
show on
shows.
HBO.
I'm doing the show on HBO, and it's all gonna be under my umbrella.
Right.
Yeah.
Not we got LeBron. No, it's LeBron's show, LeBron and Mav's show.
Right.
You know, it just happens to be on HBO.
and the shows
You know
on
what I'm saying?
NBC that he's executive producing
And
also.
it's
It's crazy.
it's what needs to happen, right? Jay-Z, how you can only sit courtside so many times,
Right.
right? Before you try to own a team,
Right.
right? And then try to open your sports management brand,
Exactly.
right? It's just the natural progression of things.
Right.
If it's not gonna be popular, but if the bedrock of this country is racism,
Right.
then the natural progression is a more diverse country,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's just that. I think there's a renaissance happening of that. The shoot I was at the other day for the big search engine was a inclusivity shoot, right? So they just needed more diverse
Diversity.
in their visuals,
Yeah.
just in the imagery they used for pamphlets and whatever the hell.
Right.
Like what? You know?
I'm amazed that you even have to have like a meeting about that.
Yeah. It's big, man. It's big. I'm in an
Is it
industry.
that hard?
I'm in, right. Yeah, I'm in an industry for some. Yeah, for because it's a release of power thing, right? We know, right?
Right.
Trying to hold on to that old guard,
Yeah.
if you will. But I mean, good luck. Good luck stopping us from
Right.
creating what that creating the world we need to see. Good luck.
I find it very interesting. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show is I was born in Harlem, raised in the Heights, and I lived in the Bronx. So this area I know very well. Advertisement, like I said, commercials to me, it was a good commercial, or it's wasting my time.
Right.
I never myself would see myself doing advertisement. I had no idea what that is. If we go in the street right now, we take 10 kids in high school.
None of them would.
Ask them, would you want to work in advertisement?
None of
They
them.
will look at me like, I'm sorry. I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, or a cop, or a basketball player, or an artist, or rapper, or something. Anything else but advertisement. And I feel like that is
Advertising.
that's
makes people-
putting ourselves in a little box,
Right.
because the same, like yesterday I interviewed a musician who's a rapper and an artist. He also paints. So
Well,
like
he's a painter now.
That doesn't.
but he's
does-
done
he
both.
does-
He's always done both
he's always
together.
done both.
But now he's like super focused on his painting.
Which he's excelling in.
And if you're, let's say, a musician, for example, because in the neighborhoods I grew up in, you were either you dribbled a basketball
You spit a hot 16.
Yes.
Rapper
Yeah.
was
So-
2 Chainz has an album. Rapper go to the league. A&R
Yeah.
by LeBron James. He just announced it like a couple days ago that LeBron James is the official A&R of his next record. If that's not taking creative control of everything,
That's crazy.
I don't know what is.
That's crazy.
And the thing that drove me, first of all,
I actually
I'm a Knicks
love
fan, not a
advertising.
LeBron guy.
Mhm.
But when he opened up the school in Ohio, that changed my perspective.
Yeah, you can't hate on the dude that opened
That's
up
it.
the school.
Because now he's doing the things for now and he's investing in the future. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
And then
that's
he's
it.
paying for those kids
And
way through college.
Right. And to your
It's
point,
crazy.
you could ask kids in these neighborhoods if they want to be in advertising, and they're gonna just as you said, but ask them after I leave, right? Let me go and talk to the class, and then ask them if they want to be in
Right.
advertising. They're gonna. I promise you that it'll be a very different
Right.
answer. In the last 3 years, I've taken so much pride in my public speaking that
Right.
I can't tell you what it means to walk into a classroom and kids see me in my Yankee hat, right? My hoodie and my Timbs or my J's or whatever. And I'm telling them about working with Spike, and I'm telling them about producing for Cadillac, and I'm telling them
Right.
about producing for XYZ. What?
It's crazy.
I spoke at Lehman right before the year ended last year, and I spoke at a few nice schools. But Lehman was a lot, it was close to my heart.
Close to the home.
Yeah.
Close to
Right there.
BX.
The line of kids who wanted to talk to me after I spoke, I almost cried. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only 30. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I've been doing this since I was a teenager.
That's crazy.
When I pick my head up, not much has changed. You know what I'm saying? Not much has changed. Things have gotten a lot better for me personally. But again, to your point, if you ask kids now, and that should not be the case. And I say this a lot, the only thing I love now more than making ads is telling kids that look like me they can make ads, right? Like I said, when I was at that first internship, I found the creative department.
Right.
There wasn't nobody introduced me to it.
Right.
I stumbled on it.
Right.
Up until that point, I thought Nike makes Nike commercials, right?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, I was an adult when I find out, they hire agencies.
Yeah.
Well, I was in my 20s,
Wild.
early 20s. We have 2 brothers in the audience. When you were in high school, would you ever be interested in ad? You don't have to be on the camera. Would you ever be interested in working in advertisement?
I went to an art school, so yes.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
that's your back. Advertisement, was that something that was in your mind?
I think if I had the information on it, yeah, definitely. I
If
would.
he had the
And-
information.
And that's it.
It's just
And that's what
sad.
it comes down to.
You said you
That's what it
stumbled
comes down
upon
to.
it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be stumbling.
You shouldn't be
upon-
stumbling when there are
And there's a lot of
50,
big people in the industry.
you stumble on it. The other side, we stumble on it. The other side of that is the CMO at the agency,
Right.
his kids. They're right up. Next up, nepotism is a
Yeah,
real
it's
thing,
crazy,
and
yeah.
it's nothing wrong with it. I want to see my cousin succeed too.
Uh-huh.
But it shouldn't go so far as to completely
Taking
make it
over the
one-sided.
whole- yeah.
Our industry was sued. There was a lawsuit brought on the advertising industry as a whole for a lack of diversity. That's how we got ad color. I'll get more into
That's
ad
what
color.
I was about to
That's wild.
lead
So-
into. But before ad.
I actually went to school for marketing and advertising.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Jack of all tricks.
So
That's why I'm up under the looks.
I went to school for advertisement, for marketing, and advertising. So,
let's talk. I want to just sidebar. You were giving me 2019 Mr. Rogers vibes with the
I gotta
cardigan
do it.
over the
Cardigan.
so
I gotta-
fly.
First,
I
Yankee
gotta
blue
do
too.
first
All you
of
need is a
Hey.
ooh.
I had to do
This
it.
is-
man.
this is why-
Pinstripe, not
is why-
pinstripe, but stripes. Ooh.
This is why. Well, I wore this color on purpose.
You know I'm
'cause
not a Yankee fan, but
my
I
logo
gotta
is
throw
still
on
orange
the
and
cardigans
and
real
name.
quick.
Oh, that's
and,
very
and
true.
all. So it's not because of the Mets and the Knicks wear the same color and the Islanders wear the same color.
Islanders, yeah.
Fuck the Islanders.
Yeah,
But
we don't wear those.
Let's not
Those
talk about
those
that.
that's actually the colors of the New York State flag.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
So
I had
there's
a
that.
guess that didn't even know. I picked it for that. I'm a Mets fan, Knicks fan above everything.
But they all get their colors from the flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knicks fan over everything, bro.
So where were we? Diversity and
100%.
diversity.
Diversity
so
and
the whole
advertising.
industry. So the whole industry, about a decade ago, I believe, or so, was sued because for lack of diversity.
Well, I
It's-
didn't know.
That color got, I think it's 12, 13. 12 or 13.
We're going into 13.
13.
We're going into 13 years.
So Ad Color has been around for 13 years.
13.
now.
just about 13 years, 12, 13 years.
And
so,
what's Ad Color?
It's huge. Oh,
so Ad Color is the institution.
I love you, that color.
Ad Color is the institution for diversity in advertising. It's where you go if you're in the industry
Right.
and feel like, maybe you don't see enough people that look like you around the
Right.
office every day. There's 1 week in a year where you will for sure meet the best and brightest in advertising, and they will be diverse.
Right.
And so that's essentially it. Started by founded by Tiffany R. Warren, because of that exact reason. She said she would go into these boardrooms in these
Right.
conferences,
Right.
and it'd be nobody.
Right.
And this is a African American woman from Boston, and she said she
Boss lady now.
yeah, big boss lady, and she would go into these rooms and not see anybody like her. And
Right.
so she was at a job, I forget which one, but then when she went to her next job, she said, "Look, I want to start this. It was just an award show
Right.
initially.
Now it's
Now it's a conference. Now it's
futures, it's conference.
a conference. It has
awards,
so
it's
many legs now. Please do
networking,
your research if you haven't. If you're interested in
event.
marketing, if you're in advertising, I know a lot of people in in the industry that don't know about it. So please look it up. It's changed my life. And so that is one. But there are several. That's the one that is the biggest. But there are several other smaller initiatives. Promoting diversity within the industry, because Lord knows we still need it.
Right.
But that's it. I think advertising is interesting because we put so much output, and you don't
Right.
get to see who's behind the camera, right, behind the scenes of it all.
Yeah.
And so you assume if LeBron is in a spot, or I keep bringing him up, but or if there's a athlete of color, or a rapper in the spot, that
Right.
somebody
Yeah.
knew what was up.
Yeah.
Nah, kids from Connecticut. 3 kids from Connecticut who don't like hip hop. They made that commercial you love so
Right.
much with the new rap song. And that there's nothing wrong with that if they are if they can connect with the
Yeah.
culture, if they really do their homework.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But if you want a taco, get a Mexican.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how you know what I'm saying. Like let's not act like
If
You
you
know-
want to be, well,
If you want to fucking,
if you want to be authentic and you want to
you wanna-
connect,
you want a
authentic,
real.
yeah.
If you
You
want a cubano,
you
get you
want
a
a
Cuban. You know
Cubano,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it's
You want a chimmy? Come
You
to
know,
the
and
Heights
that
and
doesn't-
get one from a Dominican.
Facts.
And
I also am a believer. Like, first of all, J-Lo just did a Motown tribute, and then 2 weeks later she did a tribute to Elvis Presley. Now the
which
reason
is confusing.
let's get into that though.
the reason why J-Lo was in the Motown tributes, Benny Medina, is he was Barry Gordy was his mentor for a really long time.
Benny Medina is J-Lo's manager.
Manager
mentor,
for over
forever.
20,
Forever.
30 something years. And J-Lo's mother was a huge fan of Motown
Motown.
growing up. So J-Lo would listen to Motown. I don't think she said the story. She would listen to Motown all the time. Now, Barry Gordy and Benny Medina, I don't know if this is exactly the conversation, but in the sense where it was like Benny wanted to pay tribute to Barry. And that's Benny's artist.
Okay, and that was his thing.
And she's an entertainer.
and
she
she's
did a
an
good
international
job.
superstar.
Yeah, exactly.
Get to it. Yeah.
I feel like we just said, if you want a taco and get a Mexican. At the same time, I wouldn't be offended if it wasn't a Mexican person, but they did it the way,
They did it the right way. She
Motown.
They did-
performed her ass off.
Yeah.
and she got flack
A
for
lot of
it.
heat, but I understand why.
I understand why 100%. It wasn't like there was other women of color that could have
Right.
did the.
Right. They
No,
had the 3 women singing.
I was
Fantasia
surprised.
and-
yeah, I was surprised J-Lo got heat because
She's
she's
J-Lo.
Latina.
Well,
Yeah.
Latina from the Bronx.
Latina.
Well, see, that's another internal hate thing we got going on. That if we
that's
can't,
something within ourselves.
yeah,
But I'm also about if you have like G-Eazy's a guy I like G-Eazy, dope rapper. I think he's got a great visionary. E40 took him under his wing,
Okay.
and I just think if you are authentic in yourself, like Mac Miller, guys like that, there's room for you
First of all, if
to
anybody
do your
thought
thing. Yeah,
if
like
anybody thought J Lo was gonna get on that stage and make herself look bad, then
Sad
you
is
just
mistaken.
haven't been paying.
Yeah.
You just haven't been paying attention.
Yeah.
But could they have surrounded her with some people of color, women of color?
Alicia Keys was
old-
on the stage with her. I mean,
So
she could have did a
So
record.
to the point, yeah, no, culturally, J Lo's that works. That makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm a Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx. If you
Okay.
name a rapper that you think I don't know the lyrics to, and good luck. We
Just
can
the
go do this.
Grammys,
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
they flopped a little bit in
They did, but
production
it's
of the
but they flopped
show.
in the production. The Grammys never really gets it right, but they did with Nipsey Hussle though this year.
And I think with This
Cardi?
Is America, Cardi, I liked. I thought that was great. But
Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino, I was gonna say that Donald Glover.
But see, that's
Childish Gambino's dope though. I like him.
I just
like
think
him.
if he didn't do that video and he put out the record, it would be a dope record.
yeah.
That's a dope record, bro.
The video takes it to
Takes it to
another
another
level
level.
for you, and I think he deserved it. Just
Absolutely.
off the visual
Absolutely.
and the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only got record of the year, he won something else.
He's a very creative kid.
He's one of the top
It's
right
crazy,
now.
yeah.
I look at him. I look at
Cole, J. Cole.
J. Cole.
not really.
What?
I'm talking about multifaceted
Oh, okay.
creatives.
Oh,
J. Cole is cool, but if he can do something other than rap, let me know.
I mean, he almost dunked in dunk contest.
Almost.
Almost.
With no warm up.
He's
so,
tall.
alright, he's tall
He's
as hell, and he
tall.
played ball. Like,
he's tall.
but
He's over
what was that? I
there.
forgot what I was saying.
I like the fact that he directs, writes,
Right.
does his
So
own thing. So I get that
multifaceted
point.
artist. I'm looking at
LeBron is one.
Lena Horne. LeBron is one. Lena Waithe. She
Oh,
went
I
to-
love Lena Waithe. She was at Color this year.
She'll be back.
I didn't get to do any of the good stuff, man.
The phone.
The live went off. I didn't get to do any of the good stuff. And I told Jess I wanted.
We gotta figure that out. You got a real podcast. Maybe there's something we could. Maybe there's
I
something we
got
can do.
a couple followers.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. It's real. I've seen the likes. So, I just think that's where we are, right? LeBron's, the Donald Glovers. We have to start taking creative ownership of what we
Right.
want our stories to be.
And I think it circles back to that, like not putting yourself in a box.
Yeah.
If you are there's nothing that says that if you're a great artist, and I like to use the word artist, I don't like to use the word rapper, because if you're a rapper, that means you could just
You can be a
spit
poet.
a nice little 16. An artist is someone like that can sit and write a record.
Right.
If you put yourself in a box, like Jay-Z has other, like, first of all, I worked in a
Jay-Z.
suit company for a while, and this quick Jay-Z story. When he was the president of Def Jam, I got in an elevator with Jay-Z and his security. At the time, it was a law firm that I was working at. His lawyer worked there. Got in the elevator with him. I was like, oh man, I got this whole. This guy.
As you should be, right?
So I said hello to him. Nice guy. I said, what's up? 2 months later, I got a job offer. I switched industries. I'm working as a merchandise manager for a store on 45th and Madison.
Okay.
They do suits,
Okay.
made to measure. He's getting married to Beyonce. His DJ Cassidy comes. He gets his tux tailored. Jay's personal shopper comes. I gave her, I forgot how many. I gave her tuxes, but it was like an excess amount of money. So they take the tuxes to his house and he tries them on. And then we make an appointment. We shut down the floor.
Comes in and tells.
And he comes in, he gets it tailored, and he returns the rest of the merchandise. He actually was like, "You're the kid from the elevator." So I did an interview with my boy yesterday, and he said a story about his memory, and I was like, he's right.
That's crazy.
2 months later, he remembered. I mean, I was a little like, I don't get starstruck. That man, if you don't get starstruck, him or not, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So,
You're broken.
and he's one of my all-time. So when I saw that, yo,
As you should be.
I'm
as
sorry,
You should be.
like,
As you should be.
Jay-Z.
You want to talk about people
He's somebody. Everybody's.
who are telling our stories? Like
Yeah.
this man, you know what I'm saying? Rockaware
multifaceted.
films.
Yeah.
They filmed back
Alcohol.
in Dynasty.
Running companies.
That's it. And that's it. Puff. Like
Diddy as
Oh,
well.
and
it's
Diddy?
it's And so I look
DJ
at
Khaled is going into that
he's
scene.
going in that realm.
He's
Dr. Dre.
you just can't be about. If you're great at music, that's great. Take a risk.
Take a risk. Take a risk because that's the only way we get into these other arenas, right? And like you can't wait for somebody to invite you into,
Right.
Yeah.
It was. I guess this is a good segue.
Look at 50 Cent too. Not to
50
cut you off.
50 is I
The
love
man
50 Cent. I
in
love 50 Cent.
television now.
The man in television.
Yeah.
10 years ago,
He got
Get
power.
Rich or Die Trying, Wankster, you know what I'm saying? To be executive producing the top show on
Right.
cable, right?
Right.
It's
Had that company, they literally had to like beg him
to stay.
to stay.
To stay.
crazy.
Because
And
he
was
knows
like,
what a bidding
okay,
war
I'll
is.
do these other 2 shows.
It's crazy is he did the same thing when he was an artist, right?
Right.
He couldn't get signed. It was
He was on Columbia.
Columbia
Got
back
shot.
then. He got shot. Then he was
did his own
dead,
thing.
yeah, Dead to Earth. Then he started putting out those mixtapes,
Yeah.
and then boom, right? You have to find multiple outlets. You have to push yourself to the limit,
Right.
you know. And I think that's where we sometimes fall short. We find one thing we're good at, and then we're heralded as the guy who can do the thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a specialist.
Exactly.
I want to be a generalist in 12 things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So how'd you meet Spike? Like
Spike,
How'd
so-
that happen?
so it's crazy. So I was at that.
Shout out to Spike Lee, by the way. Love the man. Love his work.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about those commercials? Don't
shit,
talk about
yeah.
the commercials.
Well, you know, I think it's cool though that he's winning. Like they did like a rerun of his commercials.
Yeah.
And he was Spike don't have to do any of that.
He doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I have to do
he
none of
was
that.
winning. First of all, Spike's a hardcore Knicks fan, and for him to do a
hardest.
commercial with Jordan,
The hardest core. Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, I'll do it again.
He did Kobe doing work. You know, he's such a basketball fan. I mean,
He is.
that is crazy. I mean, the Knicks is a different thing. It's a completely
Yeah.
different. From the out, he would walk into the office with things. It was
With
just
his,
like, bruh.
My favorite Spike
Bruh.
thing they wore at a game was the orange fur.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of that hat.
Yeah,
The
nobody
Russian- the
does.
The
Russian-
Russian hat.
Yeah.
He knows.
Orange fur.
He got so much flack for that. They say he looked like the guy from
But that's
cartoon guy. And that was just.
but that's his swag.
But that's him.
That's his
That's who he's always been, right? So, I'm gonna do what I want, and that's it. To my point about the Yankee or branding in general, they're gonna pound it down their throat. They hate it till they love it, right?
Right.
Do the right thing.
Great.
All time.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying?
All-time movie.
Timely. As timely then as it could be now, right?
Right.
So, I was at the agency I'd been at for 4 years. It was on like year 4, and I got a call from a man who represents Spike in the agency,
Right.
and they asked me to come in, and I did. And they were like, I walked in, and it was like 5 people in the office, right? And I thought, well, this can't be right. There's nobody
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm used to working at the big dogs, right?
Big
So
names.
full, and you get lost in the crowd. I walk in, and we sit down, and the whole team comes into the meeting. It's an interview. It's a job interview. Everybody comes in. And that turned me on as much as it turned me off. Because it was like, oh, y'all family for real.
Right.
Like, you guys are all in
Yeah.
here to
It
critique.
might be a little intimidating though.
I think that's what they tried to do,
Yeah.
but I'm from the Bronx. So it was interesting in that regard, but it really gave me a sense of family. And then for the 2 years that I worked there for him and with him, it was all like a family, always like a family. He'd take us out for holidays, we'd go out with him and his family, like shut down restaurants, and we'd have like team dinners and
Right.
breakfasts.
Right.
And that is interesting for a number of reasons. But what I found to be more interesting was what you get out of that. The work that comes out of that environment for a man like that is unmatched. I worked on the Bernie Sanders campaign. Good luck to him this go around. I worked on anti-gun violence for the NBA,
Right.
which ran on Christmas. Was the big Christmas push, but then resulted in Obama inviting the 2 basketball players when he did his State of the Union address where he cried about gun control.
Yeah.
That was an offshoot of that spot. Also, an offshoot of that spot was Mary McBride. I don't want to ruin her name, but she's just got elected to Congress, and she was one of the women in the spot that was affected by gun violence. She lost her son to gun violence, and she sat with me, cried, thanked me for giving her an outlet, and I didn't even know that she'd been elected to Congress, and so that like things like that, you know what I'm saying? But I think the bigger play is like creativity and truth and purpose all go hand in hand, and that's been Spike's whole career. Right? He doesn't make a thing unless he feels like we need it. Right? We meaning the community. He don't give a shit about. He don't care about the other side. But his attention to detail is insane. His passion still to this day is unmatched. I can't imagine there's anybody that works. He would go. We would be sitting. So he has like 12 jobs, right? Yeah. We would be sitting at these. We do 8 a.m. status. So every Monday at 8 a.m. you have to be in the agency. He's the first one there. And we sit and we go over everything. Start the week off that way, and then he would like in the middle of those. If he stayed in the office for a little longer, one time he in the middle of that got up, ran downstairs, and shot a Montclair campaign across the street from the agency. Like,
that's wild.
That's wild. But none of us. He didn't ask. And he just walked out of his creative agency to go shoot something else, super analog, like with a handheld and one other guy. I saw those pictures after the fact, and I was like, if they only knew. He did this with him and one other person, like in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And just like, and I think that inspired me to keep working. Outside of advertising, like go get your hands dirty again, because it doesn't matter how much money you're making. What are you leaving? What are you putting out in the world? You know what I'm saying? For me, for a long time, it was commercials, and that was enough. But then when I realized that people don't care about commercials past the time they're watching it, 30, 60, 90 time slot, it had to be something. It had to find something out.
That's a great segue, because I was just about to ask you the long way home.
Yes, my baby. So my first film, first short, The Long Way Home, dedication to Arthur Mitchell. It was me liberating myself from
just
commercial advertising. Yeah.
Going into it, you took a chance.
It took a chance. I took a chance, and for me, it was like, this seems to be the natural next step, right? I can tell stories in 30s, 60s, 90s. Yeah. What happens if I need a little more time to tell it, expand it a little more? Yeah. So, how this happened was, I wrote a script for Cadillac, and it was based around Lin-Manuel Miranda and his journey from the Heights to Broadway. Right. That spot actually got sold through. Some things happened, it died. And so that just happens, right? You have ideas, they're good, everybody loves it, and then they never happen. And so that happened, and then I left Spike. And I had some time, and I found the story of Arthur Mitchell. Arthur Mitchell is, I don't want to get this wrong, so I don't want to use the wrong verbiage. Right. But Arthur Mitchell is named in 1959 the first black principal dancer of a major ballet company. 64, he was the only African American male dancer in the original production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Oh. In 1968, he started a dance program that would go on to be the Dance Theater of Harlem, which is regarded as the first classical ballet company. If that were the story, that would be enough. Yeah. It has so many more layers to the story. Crazy. So I found that story and I was amazed. Amazed for a few reasons. And amazed and disheartened. I've celebrated, as an Afro-Latino, I've celebrated Black History Month my whole life. Yeah. We all have, right? If you grew up in I'd never heard about this man, right? And let's talk about Latino history. But anyway, I'd never heard of this man, right? Yeah. And I kept asking myself, why? This is like beyond historical shit. Like, we love Misty Copeland, right? Yeah. There would be no Misty Copeland without this man. right? Born in 1934 in Harlem. Like Jim Crow was happening.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that story was amazing to me. So I rewrote the spot that I'd written about Lin-Manuel, which is originally about me and my journey from the Bronx to Madison Avenue. But I rewrote it about a young man from Harlem who finds solace in dance, making his way to the stage.
Right.
And it turned out to be one of the most necessary pieces of creative I've ever made in my life.
Right.
Because one, it tells a story that needs to be heard. I'm actually working on his. We'll get to that later. It's a story that needs to be told, and it's a part of the arts that just isn't shined the light on, right? Mystic, we
It's just like advertisement.
just like advertising, right? You didn't know there was a black ballet scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The young man who is the lead actor in the film is an amazing classical dancer, like amazing ballet
Right.
dancer. He was at the Dance Theater of Harlem. He's now at the Dance Theater of Canada, or Dance Company of Canada. I don't want to butcher that. But there's a whole scene. There are just these amazing young black men who are ballet dancers, right?
Right.
Like, why are we not talking about this? Misty Copeland had 4 spots in a row. Under Armour, it was like 3 other spots, like Chase.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, if you're so fascinated by that,
Then
and this
why
is
are
where
we talking
advertising,
about this?
and this is where advertising falls short. Because had there been some people of color on any of those Misty Copeland spots, somebody would have did a deeper dive and learned that she's not the only black ballerina
Yeah.
of all time.
Right.
You know, so she doesn't need 3 spots.
Right.
She needs 1. The Under Armour spot was amazing.
Right.
They actually multiplied her like 70 times in the spot, so that's
Right.
fine. Find some other people, right? Find some other. The stories are there. You just have to dig.
Right.
So that's
It's
how
just
that
lazy,
goes.
you know?
It's just lazy.
Those
It's
are
just lazy.
when it comes to Black History Month and stories that come up. There's just figures that you don't know of
Just don't know.
because in school they don't teach you.
Talk about it.
Yeah, they don't
Christopher
wanna
Columbus.
talk about it.
They tell you about when it comes to Black history in general. Like you hear Harriet Tubman, you hear George
MLK.
Washington Carver, MLK. You hear
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. You hear Thurgood Marshall. You hear
T-
Frederick Douglass.
Frederick
Thank
Douglass.
you. And there's
That's it. That's like 10 people. It's like a few more, but it's like 10 people.
Yeah.
But it's so much bigger than that. I mean,
So much.
recently, I forgot the woman's name. I'm so sorry. They did a film on her life that changed. It's about a woman that was raped and left for dead. And Oprah spoke about it. That's what it was. I'm trying to remember the word when it comes to me. So Oprah brought this woman's story to life, and she, because of what happened to her, it initiated like a bigger movement. So smaller stories,
That's it.
Oh,
That's
Jackie
how-
Robinson's the other one.
That's right.
Those are, if you think of those names, they're brand
Yeah,
names,
like brand names. But guess
household names.
if you do a deeper dive, see who benefits from that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
See who benefits from promoting those
Right.
12 black people every year in February.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And why is it the shortest month of the year? I'm not gonna get there. And then
Yeah,
Latino
yeah.
History Month. It's half of September and the first week of October. Well, I
I'm
never
not
know
even-
when it starts
I'm
or
not-
when
When
it
it
ends.
ends, yeah.
I don't know. when-
Hispanic
I don't
Heritage-
know when
Hispanic
that
Heritage
is.
Month.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who voted on this stuff?
right, like, right.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. I didn't even
So-
know there was a Latino heritage.
Yeah,
Month.
so that's that.
No,
So
there is.
There
Believe
is.
me, there is.
There
It's
is.
just it's at least Black History Month. It starts February 1st, and you know when it ends, depending on if it's a leap year or not. So extended. Ours is in September, and you'll see a spot somewhere. Oh, it's Latino History Month, or
That's
it's Women's History Month also.
And it's not like they don't have stuff to talk about. You have a shitload to talk about.
I
For
just thought
Latinos,
it
for
was
fucking
dope that you
African
highlighted.
Americans,
You took a
for
story.
fucking blacks, white, anything. You have content. It's not like you can't.
Well, it's
talk
laziness.
about it.
You
It's
don't want to do
laziness.
digging. You don't want to look. First of all, James Bond. I'm gonna say this. So James Bond.
I don't know.
My brother did. Who
I-
was it?
I
Did
know.
Oh,
I
you know
knew.
who was it too.
Trust
So
me.
the character James Bond is based on a book written by Ian Fleming. Did you know James Bond, the character, was derived from a Dominican man? named
what?
Porfirio Rubirosa. Nobody's done a
Yes.
film on him yet. So it's
Which
something
is
that
crazy.
I find that insane.
You could.
Stop saying it out loud.
So it's
Somebody does.
it's a great story.
It's a crazy story.
If you look into it, the first man to own a private jet.
First man, yeah.
They say he was a diplomat. His official title is diplomat from the Dominican Republic. He was married to and dated a lot of beautiful women in Hollywood. Quincy Jones.
Marilyn Monroe.
I'm not gonna say Quincy Jones.
All of these women.
But other people have said the reason they got their game or their gift of gab was
From
off
him?
this man. And the character Ian Fleming has been on record stating, "I created my character of James Bond based on Porfirio Rubirosa."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
Oscar De La Renta,
It's
Dominican
it's
designer,
Dominican
the
dude.
man. And it's there. We're there. The stories are there.
The stories are there.
Latinos, black, it don't matter. The stories are there.
just got
Stories
a
are
It is
tip.
now
Just
time,
gotta
and this is
talk
where
about it.
taking creative control and telling the stories that need to be told comes in, is so important, right? I think we're in a time of awakening now that people, we just started knocking down these statues.
As a necessity.
we started
because
as a necessity. Because the front office is interesting.
Yeah.
We just started. What is it? Indigenous Day or what is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Like
It's like
John
people
Leguizamo
just started
things.
noticing what was
More of that.
happening. Hey,
More of
that
that.
guy is racist.
yeah, like the man literally got lost.
Yeah.
Like how can you got one job? You got first of all he was a freelancer. Like he was freelancing.
he didn't even land in the U.S. He landed
did
in
it.
the Dominican
Oh, yeah,
Republic.
he
He
landed
was
in
so
Dominican
lost. He was
Republic,
so. His
He's still
GPS
buried in DR.
His
So
GPS is so bad.
Then he tried to go to China. Or something.
he thought
He was trying to go.
he thought that we didn't exist and that he was gonna land in
he
Japan
thought he was
or
gonna
Asia
land. Yeah, in Asia. He thought he was going to land in
India,
Asia.
right?
or something like
Asia,
India,
still Asia,
something,
still
something
Asia,
like
still
that.
Asia.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
And
So
that-
that's why one of the reasons why I wanted you to have me on.
But
First of
so-
all, The Long Way Home.
Yeah.
You're an ad. And you're from the Bronx, and then ad color as well.
I mean all those things, man. It's me trying to do my part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think advertising at the highest level still has a lot of work to do. But for over a decade, I've been doing my part.
Right.
And so I think now my love now is film.
Film.
Right.
And so, I'm going to try to do as much as that. I'm currently just got research access to Art Dimitri's archive, which is held at Columbia.
Right.
So I'm going to sit there and nerd out and write his feature bio.
So that's your next
Yeah,
project.
that's,
your
that's,
future
that's
project.
this year. Yeah, that's this year. I'm going to start writing that. Hopefully I can get it done, get the script done before the year's over, and then figure out what I want to do as far as production goes. But what I have in my favor is The Long Way Home as proof of concept that I can make a film.
Right.
And so that's what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
So I haven't seen The Long Way Home. I would love to see the feature.
Definitely send you a link.
I love stories of. First of all, I'm a huge movie and television show buff. So I love interesting stories. Like one of my favorite shows on Netflix is a show from Spain. It's called La Casa de Papel. In English, it's called Money Heist. Very good show. Very well done.
Yeah, it's a good show.
So I would like to see that.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I'm that's the goal. Get it in front of as many eyes as possible.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good time for your question.
Oh,
Yes.
snap.
So we had a question before. we
Damn,
went
I was
on.
going to ask him in that beginning when we were talking about Dominican.
That's a hard intro, though, right?
But
Yeah.
it's just-
It was too tough. It was too rough.
Now that the audience has gotten to
Now they know.
Andy,
Now we can get a little personal.
now we can. So Andy is Dominican
In Puerto Rico,
and Puerto Rican,
walking
which to me
internal
they're like
conflict.
Caribbean siblings.
Siblings,
Yeah.
who don't like each other.
Yeah, it's like stepbrothers.
Very,
that
very,
hate each other.
very
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
What was the exact question, Daniel?
To identify.
How he identifies the most.
With
Dominican
which
or
side
Puerto
you
Rican?
identify most?
So, I identify with the Bronx.
Ah.
So, for me, I just started calling myself Afro Latino,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm gonna die with. For me, it wasn't until so my best friend is black. All my other best friends are black.
Right.
My stepfather, since I was 3,
You mean
was
to
black.
tell me RJ's black? Kidding me?
Couldn't even tell by the dreads.
I thought he was J. Cole.
All my other best friends are black. My stepfather, since I was 3, is a black man. My father, I don't do stepfather. So, for a while, I had a hard time
Identifying.
People would say, I would say I'm not black. I'm not black. It was Tiffany R. Warren who said, what? I'm not black. I'm not African American.
I'm sure we did a DNA exam. There would be something.
Like 85%. So that was problematic for me because my mother is Afro-Latina black. My grandmother's black, like way darker than me.
Right.
My father's your complexion. My whole mother's side of the family is dark. And so it was, I had such a hard time saying I'm not black. But then culturally, growing up, I've always been Latino as hell.
Society.
You know? So you fall into that. You fall into, I don't know what I am, or where I am, what. So I went to visit the Smithsonian, African American Museum in DC. And on the first floor, when you walk in, not even like 5 minutes in, they have a timeline of the conquest and whatever. So when you walk in, it's literally a timeline on a glass wall that tells you what happened, right? So the slavery, right? In slavery, the Hispaniola, the boats took the slaves from Africa,
So Hispaniola.
and Hispaniola landed there and high.
Yeah.
That's it. It's actually a really short line from Africa to us, to me, I cried because it gave me so many answers, right? I know why I look like that. I know my head nappy as hell and my nose is wide. I know why now, and I am very black. So Afro-Latino gives me so much peace in my heart because culturally I've grown up a Puerto Rican Dominican kid, right? Noche Buena, we fucking,
Exactly.
like all the things.
But you hit it on the nose, the Bronx. I think Bronx.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm from, right?
Yeah,
It's such a
right,
melting
yes.
pot of all of that.
Yeah.
That's what I identify with. I've been to DR 3 times. My sister passed a few years back. It was the last time. Oh no, I went one time after that. But I've been 3 times in my life. Started when I was like 9, I think. 7 maybe was the first time I went. And I've been to Puerto Rico only once. But my mother just went too, so I don't feel too bad. But yeah, man, I'm Afro-Latino through and through, from the Bronx.
So I've done one of those. I've talked about this on the show before. At the suggestion of my wife, I did a 23andMe DNA test.
I'm gonna do that too, but I know.
My friend's like, my other co-host crazy. He's got a thing about that test.
I got a
feels
thing
like
about that test as well.
It's biased.
You're giving like your DNA to somebody who stole your culture to tell you exactly where you're from.
I like this friend.
So
Yeah, that's a hot take I can get with.
So I did it. First of all, I'm Dominican. My grandmother is very dark. So there's always that complejo dominicano where it's like, my grandmother would never identify as a black woman.
Never. Nope. DR? My family is, like I said, they're all your complexion, my father's side, and he would never. But I mean, Dominicans we have some issues with colorism and.
Well, not just us. I mean,
No. The world. But I'm talking about us right now.
world,
But
Us,
us right now, Haiti
It's
and
pretty bad.
Dominicans versus Dominicans, right? Light skin versus dark skin Dominicans, and then light skin
yeah.
and dark skin Dominicans versus Haitians. It's like
This white is good, black is bad.
Yeah.
Concept
It's
that
insane.
derives from
It's
there.
crazy.
It's insane.
And it's insane. And I didn't really understand how bad it was until I started saying I'm black.
Yeah.
It's like, can you look at you? Like, what? How you got a mirror?
Right.
And so, that's a problem. This was like 2 years ago. I went to that museum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a problem.
Right.
And it's rooted so deeply. I don't know if there's a solve that doesn't
Right.
take a decade, right?
Right.
Or 2,
Right.
fucking a century. But we have to start addressing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
we have to.
Yeah.
In the world, but just talking about us right now, like
Us
DR,
first,
we need to
Yeah.
nip that in the butt.
Yeah.
You know,
Not only
All
Dominicans,
Latinos,
Puerto
all
Ricans,
Latinos, Puerto
all
Ricans,
Latinos, yeah, all
Colombians,
Latinos.
Colombians,
all
Cubans,
Latinos.
all
Yes, we
Latinos
need to
need to do that.
get the real answers.
Mexicans.
You know,
Because just like us, where it's very diverse, the Dominican Republic, I know for a fact Cuba, Colombia, and
Puerto Rico. Is the
Puerto Rico,
same.
they're the
Españolas,
exact
it's
same
yeah,
thing.
it's all of us.
All of
All
that-
of us.
all
When the boats landed,
Caribbeans.
they fucked us up.
Dude.
Like they hooked up everybody else.
Yeah.
But I don't. But, I'd say at least if you're black, you know what you're fighting against, and you know what you're fighting for. If you're Latino, it's like this weird gray area. It's like
It's
I don't even
weird.
know if I should be fighting.
don't know.
If I'm light skinned, I'm good. Actually, you know. And it's like, what? No, absolutely not. And so we need to unearth that. We need to unearth that because I mean, Haiti has one of the most rich histories of revolt and rebellion and telling the man fuck off. Like,
Right.
we could use some of that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's but that history is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. And so that history is man, it's so important. We need to learn that. They are literally across the street. You know what I'm saying? Not even the street. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's
the
the same fucking. It's
exact
not even.
island.
And so
Yeah, dude.
these thinking about these things will freeze you into inaction,
Yeah.
because it's such a big thing, right?
It just
But you have to chip away. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's a drop.
Yeah.
Leave your drop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
when I did that exam, I'm not condoning it. You know, I do say, for me it was great. I kind of knew my history because I'm very inquisitive. So of course European, like from Spain, African, of course. Although I might not look it.
yeah, that's the
Indian.
problem. Yeah.
So, this you pass for thing also gets me upset. Like, cause I don't look Dominican. What does a Dominican look like? Or you look
Yeah.
It's funny, my
Italian,
sister
or
just-
you look like
My
Colombian.
sister just
like,
posted something that was like, "You don't look Puerto Rican." She's my complexion.
What
It
does
was like,
that
what
mean?
am I supposed to look like? A pot of rice and beans?
Yeah.
That's what that was like. It's like I mean,
Yeah, because what does
It's like, what the hell does
I,
that look like?
I,
Do I
I
have
know
to look
that
like
I
J-Lo?
look like a
Is that what you
fucking-
identify with?
I know I look like a Indian dude or
Yeah.
fucking. I'm Dominican.
That's
Like
hilarious.
we're brothers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
We
that's
have
another
no-
thing.
like,
Like
we
people
have
like,
yeah,
no-
bro.
Yeah. Like we
wait,
have
hold on.
no.
Yes. Have you seen my grandmother? Have you seen my mother? Have you seen my pops?
Me standing next to my father is
What's crazy is that we're all Dominican, right? And we all look different.
Different.
yeah. But that's the beauty of
But
us. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like that's the beauty of us. And to choose one side or the other, whatever,
It's
it's
ridiculous.
crazy. It's crazy, and you're hurting us. Whoever those people are there, we know they are there. They exist.
Right.
You're hurting yourself and the culture.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And the wider community
Right.
of your and so I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of work to be done. I think as creatives, what you can do is take control of the stories that are told creatively. Make sure representation is a thing. I had an argument with a coworker the other day about identity politics, and he's a vet, right boy, man, great creative. But and I respect, he stood where he stood, but it was like, it shouldn't be, I'm gonna vote for you because I look like you, or because
Right.
you look like me.
Yeah.
And I thought, I think I said, really? Because there's only been one person
Right.
that looks like me
Yeah.
in all the years of this one person. So I'll be damned if the person who's had every other president look like him
Yeah.
tells me that I shouldn't identify with somebody who looks like me. Huh? Identity politics wasn't a thing until 4 years ago for us.
That's true.
Like what? How you gonna say and tell me, boy? And he laughed. He got it. He got. I hope he got to what I was saying.
Yeah.
But absolutely. And after that, then you hold your let's say politicians.
then-
you hold them
yeah.
accountable. Go down. What's the policies? What are they trying to do? All right, but she Latina. Let me see what she's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Why not?
Talking about AOC, Xenia, Acacia Cortez. You know what's ridiculous? Before we even did this
We
interview,
eat at the same taco spot, by the way.
in the morning from the Bronx,
Yeah.
she's gonna be on Deezy's and Meryl tonight. Two of my
Yes.
guys.
That's right. Yeah,
Two of my
yeah,
guys.
yeah. First interview. Yeah.
They took out the most expensive piece of ad
In Times Square.
in Times Square
Yep.
to talk about against her. I get it. You might
Amazon.
not see eye to eye with her, but is that necessary?
Is it for white supremacists to do things like take out billboards against a Latino
First of
woman,
all,
the
if-
first youngest Latino woman in Congress?
You're
Is it
gonna
necessary?
hold on. You're gonna take
Is-
you're gonna
is-
take
is
a
that
billboard against her in Times Square
Yeah.
in New York.
That was her retort, right? It was like
In
we
New
know
York.
New Yorkers ain't do this because
Are
New
you,
Yorkers
are
don't
you
go to
crazy?
Times Square. you showing off, you're yelling at tourists.
Even if even if a New Yorker sees that, they're like, "Are you like?"
Also,
we already know
they didn't
who
use her
this
name,
is.
which is how you avoid a lawsuit, but they used AOC.
Yeah.
You think everybody just associates like it was such a bad play, but
It's terrible.
that's what it
Like
looks like.
POTUS to
Terrible.
me, there's only one POTUS. It's
Facts.
Barack.
Facts.
It's the first time I ever heard the acronym POTUS. AOC
That's true. Wow,
is
yeah.
attached to
Bernie.
AOC is attached to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Uh-huh.
So for you to use AOC, we know exactly what you're talking about. That's like saying
But see,
the
we- but
Hitman.
see, we
you know
know-
you're talking
we
about
know-
Bret Hart.
we
or,
know-
or Air Jordan. Or
We know,
Air.
but where that billboard is, those tourists,
They might.
they don't know shit. They don't know shit, and they're walking too fast to give a shit. If you,
Yeah.
I mean, I work on 51st, right? So Times Square's around the corner, but it's if you can find somebody who's stopping and looking up at billboards, good luck.
No, yeah.
One, but
There's
bigger
too
than that,
many.
bigger than that, that is a prime example of what holding on to the old guard looks like, right?
Exactly.
That she was anti-Amazon,
Right.
and the displacement of local businesses, right? You know, the trickle effect. It's a real thing. Like it's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Look at this neighborhood, for example. It's changing.
It's a real, and so yeah, if you're the person coming in to change it, somebody saying no, yeah, then you put up a billboard in Times Square that's set to 17 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. We here though. Actually, I like that because it lets you know she's out here, and y'all scared,
and it's
and y'all nervous.
it lets you know.
You
It-
70 million in debt.
They're making
I
it
said it
so,
yesterday.
Yeah,
If
they're
you
making
have
it mad
haters, then you're
obvious.
doing something.
They're
correct.
making it so obvious
it.
that they're nervous.
You just can't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
The new Greendale, and I'll tell you what,
She's the
Bernie
next one.
Bernie's
up.
running again.
Yeah.
I think he's automatically the front runner
With more
with more knowledge. People know
more
who the fuck
knowledge
he is,
and
right?
more fuel.
Like I'm telling you,
I think
I worked on that campaign, for whatever years ago. That's 2, 3, whatever.
But
But if he chooses her as his VP,
oh man. And they have
Socialist
a good
America.
relationship together.
yeah, she was his.
that's good. That's
she
good.
was on
Yeah,
his.
she was
yeah.
on his campaign as
She
well.
came up under him. So I think she's too young for that right now. But
She is
she has
very
a couple
young.
years.
She needs to learn.
But she
how-
already she got super exposure off of like just coming up.
Nah,
right
exposure
now.
is not. She's done. That's it.
She's-
She's out of
she's
here as far as
crazy.
visibility goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think she needs to learn politics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she got my vote already.
Well, she doesn't
Whenever
really-
I feel like she. Whenever I feel like
She
she's,
doesn't really
You know,
need
we
to
actually
learn
gotta thank
politics because our
somebody for
president.
But no, but I think that's the problem. You do
Okay.
need to learn politics.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
that's the issue. We can't just
Yeah.
be.
Well, we gotta thank
He
him
can't.
because
He can't
got
be
her
the
there.
standard.
Yeah.
He can't be the bar. That man is.
You know how he got her there? Allegedly, they wanted an outsider. He got elected.
Yeah, you got to.
So now, although she'd never been in politics or worked on the campaign, she came in and she opposed like the
That.
establishment. She
And
elected.
boom. So I feel like, and I said this off camera, the pendulum swings. Right. We had Bush,
Right.
and he took it all the way this way. People throwing shoes at him at press conferences. And it
Hilarious.
swung all the way back, and we got Barack. Right. Nobody remembers that. We got.
Barack is a
We
thug.
swung it back. We got Barack.
When have oh my god, to an
Yo,
American
I
president?
100% remember when they threw the
Yeah,
shoes at him.
right?
That
And
shit
we
was
swung,
fucking
we swung
funny.
back. We got Barack. Then so Bush, Barack, Trump,
Went all the way back.
all the way
all the
back.
way
Whatever's
back.
up there. I think the next swing.
The next
is,
one's gonna be a hard one because fucking Trump was so high back that way.
No,
No, I think it's gonna come. I think the way gravity
It's
works
gonna
is the
halfway?
higher you are up there, the faster you're gonna come
Come the
down.
other way.
And so, I think our next president. There's a good chance that our next president will be a woman.
That's
Who
what I'm
that
saying.
is?
It's gonna be on the
Who
next
that
side.
is,
don't know.
who that is right now, I don't know. And I'm not stating this as a fact.
I heard Hillary's.
I mean, there's a couple
Speaking
women that I have in mind that I think that would win. I think
Isn't
after
the
Michelle's
vice
speech,
president-
she has. I mean, she don't have the experience.
Isn't Joe Biden?
She said she'd never.
Joe
do it.
Not,
Biden's
she said
running
she'd
this
never do
year.
it, but I think that she would. Oprah made a terrific. That was the speech where she brought up the. So Oprah also is another woman. I think that if if she ever decided to.
She said no too, but yeah, absolutely.
But
She got my.
dude, isn't Joe Biden running this year?
Oh yeah, he said he was right.
Yeah, I think
He got my vote too.
Joe Biden won. That's it.
said he was
there's
running,
a lot of
Yeah,
there's a
Joe
lot of good
Biden.
candidates. That's gonna be our challenge. There's
Dude,
gonna be
Joe-
a
if
lot
Joe
of
Biden
candidates, and we gotta
fucking-
pick one.
Yeah,
Joe
you gotta pick
Biden's
one.
gonna win.
We gotta pick one. But what
That dude is a
I
savage.
think we can't do is what we did, and I watched it because I worked on the campaign. Is we can't pit ourselves against each other.
Against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's a year out. I see people already talking about how Kamala Harris is pandering. Right, maybe she is. Maybe you don't agree with what she did as a DA.
She's
but
another.
but then it's a year out. It's like we have time.
Right.
Show up. Tell her what
Right.
she can do differently. Hold her
Right.
accountable.
Right.
Don't just write her off because at the end of that road is a
Right.
Republican that you're gonna hate.
Exactly.
Hence how we got our vote.
Hi. I will say this is
alright,
going.
man.
This presidency is going fast as hell. Time flies when you're having fun.
Well, I feel like it's been
Yeah.
3 terms already.
For real.
Dude, this feels long as balls.
Feels like it's been 6 months and he's almost done.
I've never been so scared in my life than when they announced. First of all, I remember this. I used to watch Keith Olbermann on ESPN all the time. The first person that ever said Barack Obama is the president of the United States was Keith Olbermann. So I remember that vividly. Because I watched that. I think he was on CNN at the time. I've never been so scared. So when I saw, I think it might have been Tyler that announced it. This man won.
I didn't. I went to sleep like everybody else.
Scared
up.
for
No,
the
I-
future
I
and the
I
unknown.
was awake, dude.
When Bush won, I was like, Bush won.
Yeah.
I
Again.
thought I thought he was gonna win against this dude,
Kerry?
John Kerry.
Yeah.
I thought Bush was gonna win.
You
But-
can tell he was surprised himself though.
Yeah.
If you look
Oh,
at his
I gotta
face,
work.
This one. This 45. Yeah. He didn't.
when
He didn't
Donald
think.
Trump won, he looks at when they say that he won, he looks like, oh man.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
all the projections were like
Yeah.
he's gonna lose.
He was ready to go concede.
He was a little
Yeah.
humble.
He was ready to go
He
concede.
was a little humble when he started talking.
Not humble. He was just surprised. There's
Yeah,
shock.
but
The
that's
pure
not-
shock of it
but,
is
but
just.
we gonna call that humble though.
Right.
I'm not giving him that credit. He don't got a humble bone in his body. I ain't giving him that credit. But yeah, to your point, yeah, he was not ready to give that acceptance speech at all. He was ready to concede.
Yeah, he was. Because all the projections were that he was gonna lose bad.
I think Hillary
And
didn't.
then that dude
Hillary didn't take into account
She ignored
women,
those
women, the
states.
where
Yeah.
women are in this country.
Yeah.
she did.
She didn't. So it's
And
unfortunate.
if there was a woman with the resume
That's
at the
her.
time, regardless
That's
of how
her.
you feel
That's her, and there's
about
nothing.
her personally,
That's it.
I always felt like she might have been that one.
That's her. That she should have been. I don't know if she can run again. It's two-time loser, right?
I don't think she's gonna.
No,
I don't think she's gonna put herself through that again.
I actually voted for
She
her
might.
in the primary against Obama, but then I did my thing. When he won, I read, I think it was The Audacity of Hope. I just-
No, there was a lot
I
of
saw a
people.
couple speeches and I heard man talk.
But the thing about
That's
Hillary
right.
and Obama,
That's right.
Hillary and versus Sanders, is that a lot of people that voted for Sanders did not vote for Hillary. Did not
Yeah,
not
that's
vote
what I'm saying.
for
That
We
her.
goes
can't,
to
to my
Andy's
point,
point
we
where
can't
you
pit
can't-
ourselves against
you
each other
can't do that.
because at the end of
We
that,
just, whoever wins, that's our candidate.
that's our candidate.
Because Republicans
That's
aren't
our
like that.
candidate.
Republicans, if
mean-
this Republican lose, we're gonna vote
I'm
for
gonna
this.
tell you this much. In this election, though, there was a lot of Republicans that weren't behind
Him. Yeah.
number 45.
Yeah.
So I don't call him president. Or
No, 45. I like 45.
So he, there was a lot of Republicans,
I even forget.
like
his-
hardcore Republicans that were. My man John McCain, rest in peace,
Mhm.
was not about that man.
No, I think if you have a brain, if you care
Common
about
sense.
common sense, if you care, empathy, if you care about the trajectory of this place we call America,
Right.
there's no way you could have been for that.
Right.
Now, if you're trying to hold on to the old guard and make sure
Right.
things stay the same,
Right.
that's what we got. More of the
You got a good old boy.
more of the same, essentially.
In this world, what we need is more examples. I'm very grateful for certain men, where they are in their position of power, and women. And we just need more reaching back, reaching back.
Right.
Rise up
This
and reach back.
neighborhood knows about advertisement. We had an artist yesterday painting. There's other things you can do where you can be successful that you might not know that you're good.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
And all it takes is, you said, you
identity
like doing
politics.
schools.
That's it. I love
Like-
speaking at schools because identity politics,
Yeah.
right? If you will,
Yeah.
I like that now. If you see me doing it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
The first time I got into a Benz, I was like, I can have a Benz.
Yeah.
Huh, gotta get out because I don't have a license, but I like the way this feels, though. You know what I'm saying? This leather is my kind of leather. But you don't know that unless you can, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Touching it, feeling it, smelling it. Shit is real. It makes
But
it
you
real.
need somebody that makes it
That
possible.
makes that possible for you
Yeah.
to see it, touch it, smell it, right? Somebody who puts it in front of you.
Felipe Lopez,
yeah.
Dominican, he made it.
But
That's
it's
it.
not only.
Maybe I can
it's
do
not
that.
Maybe I can
only-
play ball, right?
Yeah,
It's
so-
not only a LeBron James. It's not only a Felipe Lopez. It's somebody that came out of the neighborhood that's in
Absolutely,
advertising.
absolutely,
Your denim is
absolutely.
Somebody that's in working
Absolutely.
for the DA's office.
There's
doing
somebody,
some-
absolutely.
as a
There's
DA
so
or
many
something.
people that fly below the radar, right?
Yeah.
That, and I think this is another thing that we need to
That
address
we don't see
as a
enough.
community,
Yeah.
is that we get into these positions of prominence, if you will, and then we play the job security game, right?
Right.
So I'm in this position, I have a nice cushy seat,
Yeah.
and now I'm just gonna go home and go to work every day because
Right.
I gotta keep this seat.
Right.
Like, how does that help? You know what I'm saying? Like, how, you know,
This
this
little
the
box.
periphery. Yeah, I'm just gonna
Put
do
yourself
that.
in that box one more
Like,
time.
You
And
just can't do that. You know?
You can't
It's
do it.
it's detrimental. It's so detrimental to us as a
Yeah.
community. So yeah, those people to y'all can't really care. Go out, speak, mentor somebody. That's the only way we get these positions. The only way we keep them. My mentor has been the same African American woman since I was 16.
a woman.
It's
A
not.
woman could be your mentor.
That's it,
Another
yeah.
message,
Hello.
please.
And so, do that. Do that. Do it. I don't care if you are. I don't care what you do. You don't have to be famous. If you do something that we aren't in, we aren't in the scope of, as far as an industry or whatever it is, go out and tell people they can do that thing. You know, don't just bask in your paychecks and go home and be cool on Instagram, right?
Right.
Tell another kid. Tell a kid. Reach back. Tell a kid that they can do that. That's the only way. That's the only way we survive. Right?
And if we don't got a seat at the table, the Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he got a great line in the movie where he says, "Don't be the next me, be the first you."
That's it. That's
If
it.
you don't have a seat at the
That's it,
table,
yeah.
Make your
be
own
that
damn
first
table.
person.
Make
your own table.
I want to thank Andy Diaz for coming out, RJ, Daniel, everybody else that came out for the episode. I want to thank Ad Color for all the work that they do.
Word
I
up.
want to thank Andy for all the work that he does with Ad Color. And The Long Way Home.
Long way home.
That's a project we got to look up.
I gotta look out for you because I slow rolled it out.
Thank you for
y'all,
coming
man.
out.
Thank y'all for having me.
I
man.
appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all, man. For real.
We'll see you next time. Enjoy the struggle. Life is beautiful.
From money making Manhattan. So what you think that I'm packing? To protect mine, I keep it on my lap and drive slow like the turtle, straight relaxing. Ain't no acting, we selling out caskets. 2 for 1, I shoot the one, ain't no scrapping. Got more money than the city that I'm repping. How? Where I'm from, New York, you know. Got more dough than that pizza shop you order from. Which one? Domino's. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Get your paper up, go and get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. Get your paper up. Get your paper up. Go and get your paper up. I'll tell you, straightforward, no run around. I'm going straight forward, I ain't backing down. Mi casa ain't your casa, so get out of town. Y'all say y'all make